Wednesday, July 13th, 2022. Today in the Daily Review, we discuss Bill Burr's new special on Netflix called Bill Burr Live at Red Rocks. Oh, yeah. Colorado, baby. I've never been to Red Rocks, but it seems like probably the best outdoor venue in the United States. And if you don't know, it's in, I don't even know. I guess it's in the Rocky Mountains or something. In Colorado or some mountains, and there's Red Rocks. It's kind of built into the Red Rocks. Apparently you get a great sound, a unique sound off the acoustics off the Red Rocks, but also it's just beautiful, and I think the weather is almost always nice for a show. Anyway, we can ask my buddy Colin, because he lives in Colorado. He's been there a bunch. I'll get some feedback on you. This was directed by Mike Binder. Okay, let's just get this out of the way. I love Bill Burr. I like a lot of his stand-ups. I like his acting, and I like his podcast. I do not think that I think he kind of ascended to a top-tier stand-up in the absence of some of the other really good ones. I still don't put him on the same level as like Rock or Chappelle or Norm or Yeah. I mean, that might be a little bit tough for some people to hear, but I just don't think he will, by the end, he'll be there, but he's not 100% there yet for me. He's like one notch away from the absolute top tier, but something about, he doesn't really evolve very much. This is what I didn't really like this special. Let's just get that out of the way. I just didn't find it all that funny. Now, that's not a criticism of Bill Burr. I didn't have a problem with any of these jokes or anything like that. It's just, I'm just tired of this material from anybody. He starts out as you got to do. He does, first stuff is about COVID, and then about, vaxxing and how we're a divided country, and Zoom calls and being naked on a Zoom call. And, my heart breaks from my L-shaped couch. That made me laugh. But and then he takes on Me Too and the idea of being woke and Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. And that's like the first half of the show or so. And there's like one kind of criticism that I'd have in Bill's logic, that he gets, so angry about everything, which I think is so funny. And that's like kind of, he's not actually that angry. I get it. He's playing up a part where he just despises both sides, which I think is fucking funny. But so much of the premises of his jokes against women, it's like Bill seems to forget that, it's because men are in control. And they don't allow for women. Because he's always like, why don't women get together and do their own thing? It's like, no, dude, because we've kind of capitalized the market on that. And it's like, I mean, he makes a funny, this is why I can never get down on him too much, even though I wasn't laughing very hard. He proves his point really well when he talks about, well, what about the WNBA? That should be, packed to the rafters with feminists supporting it, but nobody cares, you still get 300, he's like, name your five favorite WNBA players. And then he stops that and he's like, name your home WNBA team. Yeah, so I mean, he makes a point, but he seems to forget that, it's because men don't allow it, because they're running the game. They created the game, and he's like, why don't women just break into the game? It's like, the game is fucking rigged, bro. So I want just like more jokes, less this other stuff. Then he gets to the point where he starts talking about his family and tripping on mushrooms and all this stuff, and I instantly became interested again. And I was like, all right, good. He's past his requisite, kind of political, social things that it's kind of required that he makes comments about or jokes about. But, it was just insightful, this stuff, and funny. And, I just thought that stuff was great. And how he interacts with his daughter and stuff. But, what I mean about him not really evolving is, we know that Bill had a mean, abusive father, and that he had kind of a tough childhood. That's basically been the premise of every stand-up he's had, and it doesn't seem to move. The only thing that's really changed is, he got married, that changed things, then he had kids, and that changed things. in terms of his comedy. But, as a whole, I think he's still kind of riding the same I'm an angry guy. My excuse is that I grew up in like a different time where people were angrier. And I found that it was just like, because it's a big amphitheater and the crowd is very excited and laughing and clapping and everything. This is like, it felt like it should have been in a smaller arena. It felt disturbing for an amphitheater, I don't know. So a lot, I don't know, not too much of his material goes too deep. It's a bit tone deaf. People are cheering for the wrong reasons. That's the big thing. Everybody's such a big Bill Burr. Like, he'll say something controversial and people cheer just because they're at Red Rock seeing Bill Burr. You know what I mean? And he's like, that's not even the joke yet, So, like, part of what makes Bill good is his antagonism with the audience. And I think that this sort of venue prevents that because he feels isolated and it feels too big, and that people are just reacting because of the nature of where they are, as opposed to like a dirty, dingy theater or club or something. Now, there's one big thing that I personally agree with, that I think that is kind of one of the central things of his trans humor. I agree that a cis girl is a thing that is different from a cis boy. That's me personally. I think that there are differences in those two things. And it's not a better or worse comparison. It's just apples and oranges, I think. Like, they're both fruit, but they're different types of fruit. And I think that through evolution and through societal changes and through physical evolutionary, I already said that, but like physical, emotional things, I think that cis girls and cis boys, which is still the majority, like, have slight differences, and that's where so much comedy comes from. When you blend all that stuff together, then it's hard to make jokes, because so many good jokes are about like pointing out clever differences and stuff. And so I think that Bill agrees with that for sure. But then he just takes it into, like, I don't know. Like, I think it's funny when he's like, men and lesbians have the same problem, women. You know what I mean? It's like I get it, and I get what he's doing. I know he doesn't actually fucking hate women. I know that it's the anger thing. But and I'm aware that, like, the divisiveness of his topics are like what he's trying to do. You know what I mean? That's like what he wants to confront. And I don't know. Overall, it's just like not that funny to me. And then he ends. He's like, all right, well, let's take it easy. And then he ends on abortion. And I found that stuff to be pretty contradictory, because he has 2 kids, and he spent the entire show talking about how he's basically, no matter how hard he tries, kind of becoming his father. Even though he's put the brakes on it, he's still just like angry and yells at them, and they have to like correct him and stuff like that. So it's like, like, I don't know. That I don't know. I know I'm being like, I know the comments are gonna be like, because there's gonna be so many fanatical Bill Burr fans who are like, what the fuck, you don't fucking get him. No, I do. I love Bill Burr. It's just, this one didn't hit me as well as some of the other ones did, and it felt like he was just kind of burning some material, get it out. And he also looks like Red Skull, because he definitely got too much sun the day before he shot it or something, because his fucking big red bald ginger head is all inflamed and shit. It's fucking funny. He should have made a joke about it. Yeah, overall, I don't know. I didn't love it. Let's see if I can remember how the grading keys are set up. A, B, C. I'm going to give it a pretty fucking low grade. Let's see if I picked the right one. All right, there we go. People are gonna be pissed at me. But, I also don't like the grading thing, because obviously, like, after talking to people and thinking about it more, Udon, the movie I reviewed a day or two ago, is like, yeah, it's a little bit better than what I gave. I think I gave it a B. It's like definitely a B plus, And so the grading, it doesn't matter, man. It's just how I'm feeling on that day. So don't take it too personally. I watched it, I could easily see, and this is the thing with stand-up comedy, is that I could see being in a different mood and watching it and laughing harder. But overall, it didn't really have the vibe that I like. But hey, still love Bill Burr. Still gonna listen to his podcast. Still gonna fucking check out his new stuff. Still try and see him when he comes to town. So it doesn't change my opinion of him. I just think he can do it better. I expect better from you, Mr. Burr. You one of the greats almost. All right, so you guys can like and subscribe. If you like to subscribe, I'm here every single day. You can be here as much as you would like. I hope you enjoyed it. I talked a little too long. We're going to get back to sub 10-minute episodes. I think that's better for the audience. And don't worry, more Indian cinema to come if that's why you're here. But we're not going to be 100% Indian cinema, and I'll probably eventually get bored of it and move on to some other type of cinema, like Nigeria. I don't know much about Nigerian cinema, and they're crushing it. I don't think their movies get very far out of Africa, though. So I'll have to do some research. Okay, guys, talk to you soon. Have a lovely day. Stay cool. Amen. Amen. That's how I should end everything. I should just go, Amen. Amen. Has anybody ever made that joke? That's a pretty good joke. Like hey, we should have suspected something from the Catholic Church, considering they end all of their prayers with Amen. Boy, that's offensive. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. You know why people extend that bye and do that like crazy? Is because when you cut, there's an indeterminate 7 to 12 seconds before it stops streaming. That's why I originally added the outro. Let's do the outro again. Bye. Oh, God.